One was Tumamina. There is no accountability, none whatsoever. He uses this platform to just come and waffle. He says he's going to create jobs, but he doesn't tell us where and how. He says infrastructure is going to be developed. So much money has been put aside. Where and how? So there's no plan. It's just utterances that he just makes passing time, and then knowing very well that he will not be challenged by those he's governing with.
The president have presented what is called a medium-term development plan for South Africa in terms of health, but on top, the priority of creating jobs in the economy, deepening industrialization, working with the African continent and the rest of the world. And of course, that is a very sound and practicable plan that the South Africans should look forward for its implementation, which is going to contribute to the changing of the lives of the people for the better.
Jobs is a big thing, and this is the thing I'm very glad the President's focus this evening was on economic growth and jobs. That's why we're part of the GNU, and I'm very proud of the fact that many of the DA Minister's achievements to date have been highlighted and some of their plans have been expressed this evening. But I think what we need is urgency now. The Government of National Unity has got 4 years left to be able to really move the needle on economic growth and jobs. And so I would like to see a lot more urgency on port concessions, on rail networks being opened up so we can get our products around the country and to the ports and harbours. In the agri-space alone, we've got huge opportunities to expand our production, but we need ports that are working to get them there.
Sadly, I thought the President missed a massive opportunity tonight to bring deliberate action going forward. If you want to build a capable state, you can't afford to have any corruption at any level, especially at senior levels. And we've seen how some ministers have been accused of so many things. The collapse of local government is a function of corruption. And therefore, we needed to see deliberate action about what we're going to do around corruption. We need to be able to finance development, and I'm not sure the President is acting in a manner that delivers financial plan. I wish the President would have been a lot more ambitious. 3% is a low bar. We've grown at 1% in the last while. If we want to be ambitious, let's go for 5%, and that's what I called for a 5% plan. And ultimately, on the function of a capable state, if you want a skills pipeline coming into the public service, you need to ensure that our young people aren't just passing at 30%, they can pass at 50%, but we build a prosperous nation where our young people can compete with anyone in the world. So tonight's speech felt a lot like last year's, except what I wanted to hear more of were timelines, deliberate actions, so that next year when we come back here, we can say year on year, Mr. President, this is what you've done and not done.
We can't even refer to it as a plan. This is just a reflection of a failed state of the nothingness address. And that's exactly what it is here. You can tell that this man has got no ideas whatsoever. Ever since he's been president, our country, if you look at the population rate, the growth rate, we grow at 1.3%. Yet our GDP per capita is at 0.7. So that alone tells you that South Africans are getting poorer and poorer and poorer. And this is what we're faced with here. It's a disaster. He talks about local municipalities. All he's doing is he's privatizing water and electricity. He's setting up entities, and we mentioned this actually in Parliament, because we could see that's another way of privatizing water, privatizing electricity, and then so-called introducing grants to fund these initiatives. Meanwhile, these are actually loans that are coming from IMF and World Bank. He talks about network industries and the recovery thereof. No, all those network industries, by the way, are burdened by the same loans that we've been getting from the IMF. If you look at the cost of electricity, I mean, you could get close to 80 kilowatts for 100 rand. Today, you get 25 kilowatts for 100 rand. You know why? Part of it's ESCOM, it's a network industry. It's funded by the same IMF. So this man has got no clue. The sooner this man steps down, the better for all South Africans.